Hey, is another TvT. You do the same build in all three matchups, I've noticed. I think this is the Filter Starcraft build, if I'm remembering correctly, or whatever. It's basically 3 racks into double medevacs, and then adding tanks later on. And that's not a bad build to do, especially if you keep up on your workers, but I don't know. It's in TvT specifically, infantry is terrible without upgrades. Like, upgrades are so much more important than medevacs that it's just crazy. So going all the way to medevacs before you even start getting upgrades just kind of bugs me. Also, I don't know. After the first 10, like, the build is designed to give you a really powerful 10-minute push or 11-minute push or whatever. And then the follow-up is just kind of left to you, like, do whatever you want as a follow-up. And your games always look great at 10 minutes and then just look ridiculous from then on. I think you need to plan a little bit further into the game. Like, have this 10-minute poke and then know what you're following it up with and know how to get there. Because in all of the games I've seen so far, except for the ones where you lose even earlier, like a Baneling Bust or whatever, you end up with like a really good opening and that puts you ahead, and then you lose anyway because after that you don't have any idea of what you're supposed to be doing, kind of thing. So he's coming in with a Reaper and gets 2 worker kills and completely stops you from mining, even though you have this command center you could just put your SCVs on, and you leave the mule out there. Okay. It's important to know how to deal with a Reaper because you should not stop mining early on in the game. It's really important not to stop mining. When he comes with this Reaper, blup 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 blah da da blup 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 blup. Okay, right now you see the Reaper, right? Now, okay, you don't have any Marines hotkeyed. You can't respond to this Reaper without going over here, letting the Reaper kill some stuff, grabbing the Marines, and coming back. And they're going to take a long time to walk in. If you're going to build a bunker in the front, you're safe. Nothing that comes up the front is going to hurt you. You need SCVs hotkeyed. I think you have, again, on 7 SCVs hotkeyed. You need guys inside the bunker. And then you need guys over here because this is where Reapers can come from. Reapers actually can't jump up on this ledge. They can only come past this bunker, which they're not going to do, or right here. So you just kind of always have to have Marines pre-planted in case of Reapers. You have 5 Marines, it's okay to have 2 of them over here. Now, even if you don't, I mean, it's totally acceptable sometimes to forget, oh my goodness, people can use Reapers. I haven't seen anyone use Reapers in so long that I just forgot. That's fine. And your response then is going to rely on the fact that you have your Marines hotkeyed already. You need to be hotkeying your Marines all the time. Like, anytime your camera sees Marines on it, hotkey them. Grab them and shift 1 or whatever. So then your response is 1A ground near the Reaper, and you're going to say, okay, my Marines probably aren't going to arrive in time to kill this Reaper. So then you grab these SCVs and just right-click on the Reaper. And then the Reaper is going to automatically shoot one of them, click on him, and right-click back. And then the Reaper is going to have to run away, because 3 SCVs, literally 3 SCVs will kill a Reaper. So if you pull 5, the Reaper is dead. You know, he might kill 1 SCV, he might kill 2, he might even kill 3 if he's good. But he's dead, and you don't have to stop mining. So, and if you grab your low health SCVs and retreat them, you won't lose any SCVs. So 1 Reaper, you should be able to fight off with SCVs. You don't need to use Marines to fight off a Reaper. And this is something you can very easily practice if you can get someone else with you into a unit map tester. Just give yourself 5 SCVs. Have a Reaper attack you, and just have all the SCVs chase the Reaper. And you don't even need to kill it in that sort of practice. You just need to survive until Marines can walk across the map. So, like, if you can go 30 seconds with 5 SCVs attacking a Reaper without losing any of those SCVs, you win. So at first, you know, obviously it's not going to be very easy, but if you practice it like 5 times in a row, it should be cake, man. And then next time when you see a Reaper in the game, you're like, I know how to deal with this. 5 SCVs, kill the Reaper. So yeah, a lot of times when I do builds, like, some builds don't even make a Marine early on, and those builds, if you try to fight the Reaper away by pulling Marines, a Reaper can kill like 3 Marines as long as they come in 1 at a time. So you don't want to be fighting Marines against Reapers, because if you one at a time lose all your Marines to the Reaper and then he just shows up at your front door with Marines, now you don't have Marines. So fighting Reapers with SCVs is pretty important. And it's okay to lose some SCVs to a Reaper, because it's impossible to open Reaper and have an expansion at the same time as someone who opened Marines and got an expansion. Notice yours is 76 out of 100 and his is only 57 out of 100. So by making this Reaper, he puts himself 2 SCVs behind. So if you lose 2 SCVs mopping up the Reaper, you come out even. It's totally fine. So yeah, let's stop talking about the Reaper. But the Reaper does so much damage that you basically lost the game just because of the Reaper. So that's really bad. You should never let that happen. And then when you've chased the Reaper away, you don't know where he is anymore. You're keeping half your guys at the front and half your guys here. One thing I like to do is just keep a Marine in your mineral line, because then if the Reaper comes to snipe stuff, without you even clicking anything, the Marine's just going to walk out of the mineral line and go attack the Reaper. So, you know, that's an interesting tactic. So after this, you're on 32 workers to 33, even though he expanded later than you. You only lost 2 workers, but you stopped mining for a long time. Maybe I should actually just click the busy icon, and then I won't have to tell people. 10 minutes. Every other game we've watched at 10 minutes, you had 3,100 plus 400 of tech, which is exactly 3,500. In this game, you've got a bunker, and stim is not quite done, and tech lab's not done. You don't have any medevacs on the way out. You've got way smaller, $1,400 army. So the game is literally over already. I know that you felt like you lost this game due to what happened later on, but this game was over after you pulled all your SCVs and just sat them idle for a while and stopped making SCVs and got, you know, harassed so much by that Reaper. It's definitely better to lose two SCVs than it is to do what you did here, because now you're going to make your 11-minute push thinking, okay, the way my build works, I'm always strong at 11 minutes. But you weren't at all strong at 11 minutes. You pushed out with a $2,800 army at 11 minutes. And that's not very strong. You don't have any medevacs. You only have stim. You don't have combat shields. You got some marauders, which in TvT are completely useless until he gets tanks. And you just got mopped up so easily. Like he was miles ahead of you at that point, and so he easily mopped you up. Notice actually he had a smaller army size, but a big, huge chunk of your army was in your base, not in his. And more importantly, he had only Marines, whereas you had some marauders. And the size of the army is in the actual battle, I think, because of defender's advantage while you're walking across the field, stuff is happening. So this is 25 and 3, and he has almost 40. Yeah, he's got 41. So you're fighting 25 Marines against 41 Marines, and it's just not even close. So he just stomps you. Squish. Also, some of your guys are hitting his command center instead of his Marines and whatever. So, yeah. You gotta. It's hard to sometimes, I guess, recognize how far behind you are, but you were pretty far behind. You should not have been attacking him. And now you do it again. You come over to his base and attack him, and you're so far behind that not only does he easily mop it up, but he also mops it up while doing a double drop. Like, that's how far behind you were. So this double drop kills your command center because you're attacking him. And that's, you know, that's kind of fine. I mean, theoretically, you could have saved the command center and everything, but the fact that he can be doing a double drop while you have your entire army attacking him and not die just means the game is over and you lost. So you did go double engineering bay and get 1-1, but you didn't make an armory or start 2-2. You didn't make additional racks, so you're still basically sitting on the same 5 Marines at a time that you have in all game. And this is only okay because you lost your command center, so your income is so low that you're actually keeping your money low. The follow-up again after 10 minutes is pretty lacking. You really want to at least go up to 5 racks like he did, if not more. Then he does another drop. You get the turret ring, but this is a pretty bad turret ring. These two turrets, first of all, are too close together. Like, you can have a turret here, and then a turret here, and then a turret here. But also, you just didn't cover this area that he can get in. On this map specifically, like, it looks like he can't get in here, but he can. He can go all the way down here and just walk all the way around, so it's kind of ridiculous. The turret ring just makes it take longer for him to do the drop, but he can still get in. and that means that you'll see the drop on the mini-map and be able to respond and whatever like that. So talking about anything that happened after the Reapers is pretty silly, because you were so far behind that there was nothing you could really do, especially with your style. This is just like the TvP where he went one base Colossus. Your style is to get a big army at 11 minutes and attack no matter what, and to kind of cut workers. And you know, it's 24 minutes into the game, you have 42 workers. I mean, this is significant, man. Sig fig. So your style is really all about winning between 12 minutes and 15 minutes. And if you get a little bit behind in the early game, there's no way to win in that time period. And because you're never going to take a third, you're never going to make additional SCVs, you're never going to get upgrades, you're never going to do long-term things, you lose. If anyone does any damage to you early on, you lose. And that's just a vulnerability of your playstyle. Also, making these turrets at all, making turrets a turret ring is a late game play. You make a turret ring because you have so much bigger of an income than your opponent that you can spend $800 on your turret ring and still be ahead, right? A turret ring goes hand in hand with having 70 workers and 3 bases. Doing a 2 base cut worker all in and getting a turret ring, that is not good, because just like in that TvP game, if you looked at the spending graph, you had no tech spending, huge army spending, no econ spending. And you're hoping that this huge army spending will allow you to get one attack that wins you the game. It's the same thing in any of the other matchups. If you're doing a no upgrade, like no worker, no additional command center, 2 base all in, don't be spending money on anything but army, because an all in is an all in is an all in. You need to have a huge freaking army. When you're all inning, if he does a drop that kills your command center and you have your whole army in his base trade, because now he's got 2 dropships full of marines and medevacs in your base, and you've got your entire freaking army in his base, so it's fine. I don't like some of the things you did are great things to do if you're planning to have a long economic macro game, like leaving a tank behind, getting a turret ring, leaving some dudes in your base, that kind of stuff. Those are all great things to do if you're trying to beat him on workers, which you should be doing, by the way. But since you're not doing that, those things are just taking money out of your attack and making it so that your attack can't possibly succeed. And I know that you did eventually make a 3rd command center, but if you're still on 42 workers at 25 minutes, you're not playing an economic game. I mean, you're doing things that look like you're doing an economic game, like you are getting 2-2, but to get 2-2 at 26 minutes it's as if you didn't even get it. You either got to upgrade early, never cut workers, make a 3rd command center at 10.5 minutes, 12 minutes, and that's a macro play. That's I want to continually be ahead of you play. But upgrading later on, like at this point, nothing you do really matters. You lost the game by cutting workers at 42 and not winning within the next 5-10 minutes or whatever. So the fact that you got upgrades later on and got a 3rd command center later on, it's irrelevant. Cutting workers means that you have a clock, a ticking clock, and once it ticks down, you lose. So you are 2-2 against his 3-3, and you're working on 3-3. You did get upgrades throughout the game, and that's fine and everything. But you didn't get them really quickly, and yeah. And that is the end of the game, and I